Well, now I've got a special guest tonight, John Sacerdote, who is the show manager for the Amherst show coming up. And I talked to him briefly on the telephone, and he and I share, I think, some common feelings about the hobby and trying to help each other. And they have a scholarship program. So I said, well, John, why don't you come on the show and talk about it a little bit? And John, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us tonight.
Thanks, Jim. I'm real happy to be here, and this is a lot of fun. I had no idea there'd be this many people involved, so it's cool.
Well, listen, tell us a little bit about the Amherst show and about your scholarship program that you all offer.
Oh gosh, yeah, I'll tell you about the scholarship program in a little bit more. But first, about the show. Many of you know about it. It's actually not this weekend, but the weekend after. So it's the 28th and 29th of January. Weather's looking pretty good as we look at advanced forecasts. But size-wise, with 350,000 square feet indoors, it's probably the largest show in the country. I would challenge anybody to ask or state what show is bigger and how much. And I've been to a lot of the other shows, but I don't mean to make it sound so competitive, because the way we look at it, and Jim, what we talked about earlier was we're all in this together just to promote the hobby. So I'm not really worried about what size the show is, but it is about 8 acres of indoor space, and we have a live steam locomotive that comes down from Adaville on 100 feet of track, and they blast the whistle and ring the bell and let the kids climb on board when it's stationary. And so we have some outdoor exhibits as well. But what happens from the proceeds of the show, and on a great year, we'll get 25,000 people at the show. We had a massive snowstorm last year. And even on the day of the blizzard, we had 5,000 people in the show. And we kind of made up for it the following day, where we had about another 5,000 or 6,000. So that was about half our normal population, but things are looking good this year. But I mentioned that because the more people that come to the show, the better off we are as far as what we do with the money. A lot of people say, well, the Amherst Railway Society, you guys must have a ton of money. And we do during showtime. But after all the expenses of the show and to run our building and such, we give it all away. So we've given away since the 1991 is when our first year of starting doing that. We've given away over $830,000 so far. And a big portion of that is scholarships. And we'll give scholarships to the young men and women who are off to college, much like what you guys have been talking about. We'll even give scholarships to rail camp. There's much like space camp, when you go and you're a kid, you want to be an astronaut. They do the same thing for engineers and folks that are interested in railroading. And there's an East Coast camp, there's a West Coast camp, and pre-COVID, we gave a scholarship to a deserving young man in that case, who spent a week to 10 days at a camp on the grounds of one of the large railroads out there, and they sit with engineers, they sit with brakemen, they sit with dispatchers, and they actually learn all about railroads. So it's a lot of fun for them. And we had the gentleman come back and give a little talk at one of our monthly meetings about what happened, and he had a lot of pictures to go with it. And it's not a huge amount of money to go to this rail camp, but we've given scholarships for folks to go to college too. I basically, that's how the Amherst Railway Society started so many years ago. This is our 55th show. Even the year that COVID broke out, we had a virtual show, much like what you guys are doing here. So we've never missed a year with some sort of a show. And this all started back in the early 60s with a bunch of college professors. If you guys know Amherst, Massachusetts, there's UMass, there's Amherst, there's this New Hampshire College and Smith, and there's so many up there. I could picture all of these faculty members sitting around going, hey, I didn't know you played with trains. And yeah, so do I. And that's what happened. They started to get together and just show off their stuff. And one thing led to another, started to spread to the crowds, and they were taking donations. And the next thing you know, they ran out of room, and then they moved down to the Eastern States Exhibition Fairgrounds, and the rest is history. And so when we started to make all that money, we said, let's do something about it. And because we're a nonprofit organization, we said, hey, let's give it away to kids that deserve it, as well as any 501c3 nonprofit organizations that have something to do with railroads. So we basically, people say, what happens? We give it all away. That's what happens.
Well, John, I tell you, your program sounds fantastic. I'm so impressed with the amount of effort that you guys have put into it and the amount of money that you've been able to contribute to the young people's education. I think it's phenomenal.
Well, I appreciate it, Jim. And what I'm excited about, to let everybody else here know, is you guys actually are going to have some tables at the show this year. So we need to spread the word, and we're all in on helping you and seeing what we could do to publicize this more and drum up some more business in the form of donations or money or whatever it'll take. But we need to spread the word.
Well, we're concentrating on getting applicants right now. We want to make sure that we really can reach the kids. If the kids find out about us and so forth, that's why I was so thankful that you guys got us a couple of tables and so forth. One of the people that's going to be there is Chris Course, and Chris is on the show tonight. Chris, do you have any questions for John about the show or anything?
No, I think if you've never been there, from what I can tell, this is the year to go. So, I mean, just basically right around me, I've got a ton of people that, I really look up to in the business and go, oh my gosh, wow, this is going to be huge. So, last year with the blizzard, we had like, one big name after another dropping off because of the storm. And I went up anyway, and things weren't all that pleasant, but you got to cut your teeth somewhere. And
Chris, it was our worst show ever. I don't mind saying. I mean, it was such a blizzard. There were 25 to 30 inches of snow in Boston the following day, and people couldn't even dig out to get to the show.
Yeah, and things are looking. If you're up there early, I'm doing not one but two clinics now. So
and our pre-clinics, yeah, I heard about that actually. Thank you very much. And we have some good indicators this year that things are really what I call quote unquote back to normal. If you don't have a hotel yet, you're in trouble, because every single one of our hotels, of which there are a couple dozen, are full. And I mean full. I call and say, hey, do you have anything? And they go, John, nothing left. And our pre-sales of tickets are up 400 or 500 people from whenever we started doing it. So things look great. And I start looking at farmers' almanacs and anything I can get my hands on to talk about weather to make sure, but things are looking good so far this year. But in New England, I'll let you know the day before.
And another one of our members is also going to be with you, Dylan Lambert. And Dylan, I don't know whether you're on the show tonight or not. If you are, do you have any questions for John? I guess he's not here this evening. But anyway, we've got several people coming to the show that are going to represent us. And I thank you again, John, for everything that you're doing for us. I really do appreciate it.
My pleasure. And thank you for having me on, just to spread the good word about getting younger people involved in this fantastic arena of railroading.
John, I agree with you. It's critical. It really is critical. And we owe it to them, because people helped us along the way when we were younger, and now it's our turn.
That's right. I look forward to it.
Thanks so much here. Talk to you later.